works, Erin. That was a perfect natural intro. Welcome to the Tea Party at the Sprigg. We are here with me and Erin, and our guests today are Sharon and Abbey. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Oh, Abby, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You got it, Sharon. You got it.
I don't know. I watched like Christina and Rachel's one, and they had like interesting stuff. But I guess I'm just your local nerd at Wooten. Yeah, nothing special.
My name's Abby. Does anyone have any questions to ask me about myself?
I actually do. I feel like we've talked about pets on like every single podcast. So just to keep the trend going, because I do happen to know that both of you have pets. So would you like to talk about your
It's very important. We need to know about our guests' pets.
It's like the critical talking point.
Well, my dog is the center of my life. She is very crazy, and I don't even really know what to say about her. She I can't even describe her at all.
Well, I could describe Noelle a little bit. So Abby's dog Noelle is just a whole unit. Like I feel like she's like the perfect guard dog.
Yeah, she's a good hunter.
What breed is she?
She's a border collie and Jack Russell mix. So she's kind of like the most active hunting border collie dog ever, basically. Very interesting mix.
I don't know why I asked that question because I don't really know dog breeds. I do happen to know what Noelle looks like, but maybe some of our listeners will know him.
She's like pretty big. Not like crazy big, but she's like mid-size.
Because like when you said Jack Russell, sorry, but I imagine something small because that's what Darcy has.
Imagine like a big Jack Russell.
It's pretty, Noelle's pretty big. Okay. All right. So we normally have some talking points that we talk about and go over because they're very important to, the Wooten community or seniors or really anybody in the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think that the most important thing we need to go over is Survivor.
Wait, Sharon didn't share her pet.
Oh my God, Sharon, I'm so sorry. I was just wanting to talk about Survivor.
It's okay. He's just a fat gray cat who will run to you if you just shake the treat box. So that's like his biggest personality trait. So yeah, I have nothing else to say other than he's fat and gray. And now my dad is talking really loud. Sorry.
Follow him on Instagram. Doesn't he have a
account? At Fat Greyson. Hopefully we don't get too many random followers because this podcast has like 1 million views. So
we're famous already. So
yeah, pretty much.
Like our last one had like 25 views, I think. So like we're already there.
Like we're swimming in the money.
But yeah, Eli, sorry. Go ahead with the Survivor.
So it's been very important this past week and a half. I mean, I've been watching Survivor. Netflix came out with 2 seasons, and the first one, season 28, is it's a whole adventure.
Fire.
Have either of you watched Survivor?
I have never watched Survivor, but I've met someone that was on it.
What was his or her name?
Her name was Tina. I met her. I went to Maine. She was eliminated in like the first season because she said everyone thought she was too much of a threat. But we went to Maine and we did this like lumberjack thing. We did like axe throwing and like, when you like walk on a log like in the water, and she like ran it. It was like a small business thing, and she was just like, yeah, fun fact about me, I was on Survivor, but I don't know what the show is really. So
yeah.
Abby, if you want to talk about the show, or do you want me to talk about it?
Well, I'll start off. So basically the premise is I don't know if it's always 20 people, but this group of people go to this island and they compete in a bunch of physical challenges, but a lot of it is they're surviving on this island, mostly without the help of like the producers or the TV cast people. and so like they don't have food or like shelter, and they're just trying to survive and stuff. And it's also like kind of strategy, so they're building alliances, and like every time their group like loses a challenge or something, they have to go to tribal council and they vote someone off that's like not part of their alliance, or they can blindside people and vote them off, and it's just super crazy.
So example, um, so like, so there's like two teams, right? Team A and Team B. They are both surviving at like separate places, and then they go and do a physical, like they go and do a challenge that's like set up by the producers and stuff. So they'll both go compete in the challenge, and the losing team or the winning team will get like immunity or something cool, like like a pre-made meal or like blankets or a tarp or something. And the loser will have to vote someone off their team, and then within that team, like people like ally with each other to vote off other people and stuff like that. So it's like if there's somebody who like really messed up a challenge who's like not that good at challenges, you might think, oh, they're just gonna vote off that person. But the person who was bad at the challenge could like get like enough people from their team to vote off one of like the strong people. So then they all have a better chance of like winning.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
it's like so
Yeah.
much strategy in picking who to vote off. So there's just so many like twists, and it was so good. And
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna like Survivor that much because like I'd heard about it. If any of you have watched Survivor, um, Team Spencer, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but it seems a little bit stressful for me.
I
just
don't
seems great.
think I don't think I could ever actually go on the show because I'm just too nice. I don't think I could backstab someone just to win $1 million. Like I just feel like
It's a million? That's a lot for a TV
Yeah,
show.
what?
Yeah. Like that's why people like lie, cheat, steal. Like people do anything to win the money. Like it's crazy.
Wait,
Yeah, and okay, so yeah,
how many episodes are there in like a season?
like pretty typical season
Oh,
stuff, like 13, 15.
that's a lot of challenges.
Well, it's like in each episode there's like two, and like the first one's like for not. So it's like the first one's like not for like not that deep of a challenge.
Mhm.
So the first one could be like for food or something like that. And then the second one is always for the immunity. And then there are also immunity idols, which are hidden throughout the island, like underwater and like underground and stuff like that. Like these little necklaces things that are like maybe this big. And if you find one, you can play it and not get voted off. So like it's also that's like a big thing. You don't know who has an immunity idol, so like you don't know what you're doing. So like, if somebody has one and you vote them off, it just like nothing.
Sounds
Those-
fun.
Where is this
Like-
filmed? Like, what island is this on?
They pick a new one, right? Or they pick a new like area each time.
Yeah, I know they film a bunch in Fiji, and then actually LaRon told me yesterday that they actually bought an island in Fiji to
That's
like
so
just
cool.
ship all of their stuff to, and then they just like have all their stuff at their island.
God,
It's
it's
like
Yeah, this
crazy.
is the Mamanakua
Oh
Island.
gosh, Erin. Oh
Yeah, I don't know how
gosh.
to say it. Yeah.
So also for reference, we're filming today on the day where it's snowing a lot. The only day probably where it's gonna be snowing.
I mean, you never know. Have faith.
I do
mean,
have faith. I have to go into work in an hour and 45 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into work, and I don't know what to do. So
yeah,
You
I
should
have
just
the same
text your
issue.
manager now.
I should, but would I say like what would I say?
The
Like, I could
the
say like
slick roads. That's what you
slick
say.
roads.
Yeah, and then period and just
Period.
send it. Yeah, yeah, Abby.
I saw this TikTok yesterday of this guy who like walked around the back of like a supermarket to like where they like serve the food, like like the like and he walks back there, and then like the employee's like, well, you can't be back here, and he just turns to the phone and goes, chicken sandwich, and turns back, opens and just grabs it.
Boy.
I don't think I did it justice.
It is snowing pretty hard right now.
I know.
Decent amount.
I
Like
think it's
fat
gonna stick.
snowflakes.
Yeah, and it's like sticking on all the trees in my backyard and stuff.
My road is pretty much a sheet of snow right
Yeah,
I'm
slick
really salty in
roads.
my neighborhood.
now. Slick roads. I'll just text my manager. Sharon told me to just say slick roads. And that's it.
Who's Sharon? Your grandma or something? I don't know.
No, I'll just say Sharon. I'll just say Sharon. They'll be like, okay.
So where do you
Yeah.
work?
I work at Lifetime in like near Rio.
Yeah.
Which is- I
Wait,
don't know.
haven't you been working there for like a really long time? Because I remember in AP Leg, you would talk about it.
What?
Yeah, bro, I sat next to you first semester.
I know
Oh
that.
my god.
I know that. I just didn't know if I would talk about it.
Or like you and Thomas would talk about it or something.
Oh
I
yeah, Thomas
forget.
works there too, I guess. So that makes sense. I do remember funny story, Sharon. I don't know if you remember this, but like I crack like everything all the time, right? Like I'll do like crack my knuckles and stuff.
Mhm.
And one time, like I'm the kid in class who like will like crack my back and it'll be like annoying and loud, but like I don't care. It feels so
Oh
good.
no.
And so one time I did it, right? I was just sitting there, mind my own business, and I just go like hit him with I like crack my back or whatever, and then I look over it and Sharon's sitting to my right and she's just like,
I live for Sharon's facial expression. If you haven't seen the Family Feud episode that they put out, highly
Oh,
recommend watching it and just only watching Sharon.
they said to dramatize everything or whatever. Whatever. Dramatic.
Dramatize.
Oh, dramatize. Or wait, that sounds wrong too.
No,
Does
I think
everyone
Is
it's-
have
that even a word?
is it dramatize or dramatize?
someone get Google.
I got you.
Does everyone have a
Okay.
word that they can't pronounce? I have one. It's auxiliary. I just don't know how to say
Like
it. Is that
auxiliary cord.
auxiliary? Is it just auxiliary?
Yeah.
I just call it the ox.
That's what I do. Or like in middle school, we had the auxiliary gym, and we just called it the A gym, but it was really just like a room with a mat in it. But
Wait, that's bougie. Frost didn't have that. Wait.
oh well, it was the name. The actual room was literally like the wrestling mat floor on the ground, and then just like a square. That was it.
That was like the room that Frosted had where like we would do the gymnastics unit.
Yeah, it was like if you guys had multiple gym classes, if one class was like in the gym, it would be like when you weren't in the gym and you'd have to like be in the secondary room.
Is it
That
the
would
inner
be-
gym or whatever? Sorry, Abby.
That would be like the room at Frost that was like where they'd set up like the balance beam. Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Mm-hmm.
That was the worst.
Did you guys do the vault in elementary school? Did you have that?
Oh my
I
gosh,
could
yes.
never do it.
That
It
was
was so embarrassing.
the best thing in school ever, period.
Never, no.
Going
'Cause,
on. Oh, sorry.
so my like in elementary school, our gym teacher was super chill, so he'd set up the vault, but like you had to kind of jump over and be safe, and like all of us would just like full sprint and like jump and get as much air as we could and just like flip over and like dive onto the mat because it was just so fun. And that was school.
I remember doing like the high balance beam, not just ones that were on the ground, like the high one. And there would be like mats under it. And I remember like walking across it, like no one would ever do it because everyone was so scared they were going to fall. So,
You remember
Wait,
when
we had a vault in.
yeah,
at
we only
Frost?
used it. Only like the 4th and 5th graders were allowed to use it.
Yeah.
4th and 5th graders. Aaron, that's
Sharon-
elementary.
No, I was talking about elementary school.
Yeah, Sharon and I both went to New
Oh.
Beef. I don't know why we have different memories of it, but
You guys had this looking thing.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like an
Yeah.
older version of that where it was like a springboard and you just jump over the thing.
What?
Did
It was like
Falls
it was
have
like
one
this
of
giant mat. You'd have to like use the springboard and like push yourself up. But what we'd always do is just like push and then just like fly over it versus like
What?
I always remember gymnastics. Whenever that unit came up in school, it was just traumatizing.
it was just
I was-
injury time.
I was always
Bruh.
the first kid, I swear.
Yeah, I can't do the bridge.
Cartwheel.
Oh, I can do a cartwheel, but I can't do the bridge.
Remember when they had us climb up ropes just as much as we could?
Oh no.
I feel like I never really had to climb up ropes. I don't know why, because I feel like that's such a staple. But
No.
Dang.
When I went to Lakewood, we did, because I went to Lakewood for 2 years, and that was so terrifying and traumatizing. Like,
I just swung on the rope. That was fun.
I would like people would go up to like the ceiling of like our gym. Like I don't understand. Yeah, it's I don't get it. There were like limits that we were supposed to go to, and people would just climb like as high as they could, which is
but yeah,
not.
the gymnast would flex on how like
Yeah,
everyone else would just look normal.
I wish I
Like-
could do gymnastics. Like that'd be cool.
I know. People train so hard. Like I can't even imagine. So much work.
Yeah.
one of those commitments.
Mm.
All right, I'm gonna text my manager. I'm gonna say, hey, snow's getting pretty bad. What'd you say? Something roads,
Slick
Slick roads.
roads.
slick roads, no
And then add
work.
like a little snowflake emoji, so it's like even
Snowflake
if,
emoji.
yeah.
Maybe I'll just skip work as well today. Technically,
Yeah,
not
Erin,
work,
Erin,
that's
just say
me, but
just say for you, car or no.
Car,
Wait, let
no
me think of
work.
something.
I
Yeah,
stay.
car.
you know the therapists at the place though, they're also chill. They literally wouldn't care
Yeah, they're
at
so
all.
I
fun.
know,
Like
Erin,
I
I'm
went to
so bad.
PT.
Yeah.
Wait, Abby, did you go to PT there, or did you like? intern?
I also work as a physical therapy intern, not with Erin, but at a different place. But it's like the same vibe. So chill.
Yeah. It's just a good time. Like my friend was asking me for a quote for the yearbook about internships because we're doing a page on internships, and she was like, what's like the coolest or like most fun thing you do?
Oh god.
And I was just like, one of the therapists like makes me hit someone with a foam roller to work on their balance. So like that's fun.
Oh my god.
And she was like, okay.
Oh wait, Erin, you should say, if you're oh wait, are you texting Alan or?
Alan, yeah, because Josh is
Oh,
one of
never
the
mind.
therapists, but Alan's like my actual supervisor.
Because if you're texting Josh, you'd be like, Sharon broke my ankles, can't come. But I don't think Alan remembers me.
Yeah. Alan. Oh yeah, Alan did it
Oh my gosh.
For reference, Sharon did physical therapy at the place that I intern at, which is why she knows all
Yeah.
the therapists.
So funny.
Yeah.
The whole chain. I've heard that like it's if you like people in Maryland know each other a lot more than like other states. Like we
It's
know
so weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I saw a thing that was like or I didn't see a thing. Like I know I have a few friends who like live in Baltimore and they were like like everybody knows everybody in Baltimore. Like all like teenagers.
I like.
It's like crazy.
Maybe it's because we're
weird.
so small, although we're really populated. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we're
feel like
very
I don't know
dense.
anyone.
It's
Once I
not
like
like
think about it.
it's like yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's always like random connections you can make. If you like meet someone new in Maryland, like based on where they're from, it's like, oh, you're from there, you go there. I know this person. They're like, oh yeah, I know that person.
yeah, like my sister did gymnastics with this girl from I don't even know what school she went to. It was like some like random private school, like not even near here, because her gymnastics place is like far away. Then she was talking to her friends, and then like three of her friends all happened to know the same girl from like different things, and they were all like, "You know her?" And they were like, "Yeah, like I did gymnastics with her." And they were like, "You know her?" And it was just like a big thing. So I guess that makes sense.
I always feel like I know the same private school people, just like randomly. I can't really describe it.
I feel like I know what you're saying.
I feel like
Oh,
once you know a private school person, sorry, Eli, but like you know all of them or whatever.
Yeah.
it's I mean, it's just a lot like I guess compared to public school, it's like smaller communities, so they all like know each other. Versus here, it's like if we had like an event where it was like two schools, like there's no way you'd be able to meet everybody from the other school, like even if you tried.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing that Wooten was like one of the most population dense schools in the county in terms
It
of like
is?
yeah,
That sounds right.
in terms of size versus the amount of people.
Yeah.
Like that our building.
Uh,
Yeah, our build like the amount of people for the size of our building.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, so much for that renovation.
I didn't want it while we were here because like
Mhm.
I just didn't want to deal with that.
I
But
mean,
Mhm,
wouldn't
that
even
makes
get the
sense.
benefit from it at all.
exactly, that's what
Yeah, and they would just like kick us out and make us do classes in like portables.
Wait,
I
how
mean,
would
I'll
that
take.
even work?
They make us do classes over Zoom or something. It would be insane.
Yeah. Well, how would portables work? Like they would need how many portables?
I don't know, but I also feel like the parking, like I feel like I forget what school it was, but some school, I don't even know if it was here, but they just like brought in a bunch of portables for like classrooms when they were like redoing like certain sections of the school. So then like no one could even like drive to school because the parking lot just had like portables, which would suck.
That's bruh. All I wanted to do senior year was just drive to school and like flex coming out of the car, like walking to school in the parking lot. But no, we can't even do that. So
Well, you could go do it, but there just would be nobody to flex like on.
yeah, exactly. Like when my sister would drop me off at school, it would be like the seniors would go in the other seniors' cars and like either they would all walk in together or something.
Like
So
right at 7:41.
yeah, exactly. Now we can't even live that.
Last year was the best with parking because I luckily got my license pretty early. So a bunch of like people I know, we got our spots up at Frost because like
Oh yeah, I heard of that.
yeah, so then we'd all like hang out there in the morning, but then like we'd still have to walk all the way down the hill
It
every
was
day and then
the-
back up at the end, which kind of sucked, but at least we got spots.
It was. I started parking at Frost. Uh, um, and the morning when it was cold was not fun. Like going down the hill and like I don't know, just like dealing with all that. But once it got nice out, it was really nice. And then when the pandemic hit, I didn't even have to drive to school.
Yeah, I like went with my neighbor, like she was a senior and then like three of us in my neighborhood all drove with her. And first semester was like so chill. And then second semester she got a spot in Rockshire. We were like, and then we all had to
Yeah.
walk to Rockshire in the freezing cold.
That morning walk is so brutal.
Yeah, it's different.
Sometimes I would like looking back on it, it sounds a little crazy, just like to me. But I would go like in the beginning of my junior year, I would go to school like really early and just like sit myself down and like do a lot of work. So I'd get to school like at 7 or something like that. But it was because I could drive myself, and I literally like the walk into school that early. It was like still dark, and I was the only one in the parking lot. That didn't even feel like real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels sad, right? Or like
Not
just
even sad, just like
eerie or whatever.
eerie and also like peaceful.
My routine last year, I would wake up at 7, leave my house at 7:35, and somehow be in math class at 7:45. I don't know how I did it every day. It was really intense.
I literally had to wake up at like 6:45 and we had to leave at like 7:10 or something because traffic is so bad
Yeah.
and it's such a pain.
I guess, Erin, you're in Zara's cul-de-sac, right?
Yeah.
That must be really bad because it's like QO is also like right there. So is it just like
The worst is just making a left turn out of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
anyone
your
in
neighborhood
my neighborhood
sucks.
always talk about it because
Oh my-
for our listeners out there, I live on like Darnestown Road, but there's no traffic light. So if you're making a left turn, then you have to wait for both lanes to be empty. And then there's people like turning everywhere and there's like so many lanes. So it's just such a pain to be like turning out of there. So
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of lanes, so it's not even like you can just bolt into the middle or median or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, sometimes you can, but then there's like if people like are in the middle trying to turn like from the intersection, like if that makes sense, and like you
Mhm.
can't go to the middle. So it's just like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. I would just leave at like 7, whatever, because I live outside of the district now because I moved. I'm allowed to say it because we got the COSA, and technically I never have to go back to Wooten ever again. So yeah, I live closer to Gaithersburg than Wooten. So it's like basically the same distance as Erin, if not longer.
I feel like it's
From
longer
Wooten.
for you, right?
I mean, if we took the highway, it would be so much shorter, but the highway gets so clogged, or I forget, whatever. It gets so backed up in the morning, so it sucks.
So, like, differently and similarly to you guys, so I live very close to Wooten, but it takes, like, the traffic is insane in the morning if you're trying to, like, get into Wooten. So, like, if I was getting driven to school, like, in the morning or something. So, even if you, like, there was actually me and, all right, so back in, like, sophomore year when we still needed rides to school, me and Kevin my dad would take us in the morning, and Kevin's mom or dad would take us home in the afternoon. And what my dad, Kevin, and I did in the morning for a week is we left at different times to figure out, like, when the traffic was going to hit. And we realized that if you show up anytime between, like, midway 7:30 and 7:45, like, you're not going to get into Woot. Like, you're going to be waiting in line and be late. So you either have to show up before that or play your chances and show up afterwards.
Or like the traffic starts at, sorry, Abby, but the traffic starts at like 7:17 or something, like something crazy like that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the closer you get to Wooten, that's when you really hit the traffic, and that's like the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it goes from like yellow, like slowly to orange, and then it's just complete red.
Yeah.
Or like dark red. Yeah.
In 8th grade, I lived in an apartment in Rio for like a month. My basement was like getting renovated or whatever. We weren't allowed to stay in the house. And so I was still going to Cabin John, which it wasn't like that far from Rio, but it was a decent drive in the morning. And the annoying thing is we either had to take the highway, which was rush hour, or go on Wooten Parkway, which is Wooten Parkway. So either way, it was like, it took so long to get to school.
Yeah, that is rough.
Yeah. Don't the Stone Mill people have to take either Wooten Parkway or the highway? Or like, do the school buses even go on the highway? Is that a dumb question?
I think they do, but it's like only on the right. Like they'll just like stay there.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I don't
It's
think
like-
I've ever
I made
seen a
that
school
up, but it
bus
sounds
on-
right.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I've never seen a school bus go that fast, technically.
Yeah, any Stone Mill kids for middle school, like I don't understand why they didn't go to Frost.
Yeah.
So far, and also Hoover Middle School, which is a middle school that feeds into Churchill, is closer to everybody like Cold Spring and Stone Mill than Cabin John.
The districting is like so weird because like Dufeef like is literally 2 minutes from QO. So like I don't understand why Dufeef goes to like Wooten and then Stone Mill. Like who knows?
And my neighborhood, so like there's a walking path. So like my neighborhood's like here, and you have to go like all the way around to get to the main road to go to Wooten. There's like a little walking path that takes you right to Wooten Parkway. But the thing is that like my neighborhood's pretty big, so it's like combined with like a few like smaller ones pretty much. And the outer edge section is actually like Rockville, and I live in Potomac, so it's like the borders, like you can see the street pavement, like where it starts and stops for like different things. So it's like the people who live on the other side of the street pavement, like the Rockville side, go to RM, but they all live closer to the Wooten walking path than we do.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like to walk, like I have a friend named Noah who goes to RM, and he's routed for RM. He went to Cold Spring, which is in our neighborhood, but like it would take him much, much less time to walk to Wooten than it would for me because of just like where in the neighborhood he lives. It's like insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Speaking of like, well, okay, I'm just watching. I'm getting really distracted by the snow out my window because I'm like watching it right here. But then we were also talking about Frost in school, so it got me thinking. Did you guys ever go sledding on the Frost Hill?
Yes, it's so fun.
I don't know so I'm not a Frost alum. So we would go there. But it wasn't like the home turf. That was Cold Spring. I don't know if any of you've been to Cold Spring. Probably had a soccer game there when you were like 6. Don't remember. There's basically like it looks really flat, and it's like kind of like hills, kind of like going like that, and a few fields, and then like the school. But on the other side of these hills is like super steep, and then it's like right into kind of like the woods and creek and stuff. So that's pretty much where we would go, and we'd build like giant ramps and do all the things.
'Cause I've been going to frost to sled since I was really young, and always the most dangerous thing was when the guys would build the huge ramps and I would get caught on them, and then I'd go just flying into the and then like break my back, and it'd just be a disaster.
You're so hip. I'm
On
like
behalf of the ramp builders, I apologize for potentially putting you in danger, but do not apologize for how awesome that ramp must be.
I'm like scarred from the Frost Hill because I was like really young, and I'm used like in my neighborhood there's like a hill that's like not as steep as the Frost Hill, but like still pretty steep, but it's only like a quarter of the size. So, and it's just like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like kind of in between someone's backyard and some woods. So I would go there. So I wasn't used to these giant hills. So the first time I went to Frost, I was on a little plastic saucer, and I got caught by one of those ramps. And I like kid you, because I was like tiny at the time, I went flying, and then I got like the wind knocked out of me when I landed, like you were saying, Abby. And I was just forever scarred from that.
I swear everyone has the same traumatizing childhood story like that.
Yeah.
I don't. I feel like I live too far. Every time it snowed, it'd be like too much work to leave the neighborhood to go all the way to Frost. So I just like stay in my own.
So my neighborhood, like, it's very large in like just how it's spread out. Like it's just one, like instead of just like little sections, it just were a huge giant thing. I don't know. There's a few parks and like schools. So there's so many places to like go sledding and stuff, and we would just walk and like trudge through the snow to different places. And one time, like my whole group, we were trying to get to Maddie Copeland's house, and we were in this park. And basically, you can go out this one side of the park and go up a hill, and then you're at Maddie's house. But one of our other friends, who will remain unnamed, but if you're watching, you know who you are. He was basically saying, no, I have a shortcut. It's going to get us there much quicker. And we trudged like all the way around the park and like to the like a different side of the neighborhood and walked all the way back over to where we needed to be. But this was in like 6 inches of snow. So it was that's my snow trauma. Just like walking miles and miles in like 6 inches of snow.
The best was when we had the blizzard. I don't know which blizzard this was. I think it was the more recent one, like middle school maybe. And they plowed my neighborhood for some reason is always like one of the first to get plowed, which doesn't make sense to me because it's like a pretty small neighborhood. But anyways, it like the main street got plowed, but then none of like the other like connecting streets that just lead into cul-de-sacs got plowed. So I was trying to walk to like, I think it was Jenna and we were trying to walk to Olivia's house, and she lives like in one of like the turn-offs of like the cul-de-sac, and this was like the blizzard, so there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground, and we were just like walking through with the snow like up to our waist, and it was just such a good time. Like I want a blizzard like that.
I remember that first like huge blizzard that we had, if you guys can remember, like when we were maybe in like elementary school, 3rd grade or something.
Yeah.
Our power went out for like 3 days or something, and my house got so cold. And
oh no.
So my mom tried to dig our car out of like our driveway, but then it wouldn't start. So then she packed like a bunch of bags, and she's like, okay guys, we're walking to a hotel. And then we got like all of our snow clothes on, and we started walking to this hotel, and then luckily this guy just like randomly picked us up. I don't know, looking back it was kind of
Wait, how far away was the hotel?
Like 2 miles.
Oh, that's not too bad. I was thinking like a lot longer. I don't know.
But also in the blizzard, that's kind of bad.
Oh, true.
Weird, but very strange situation. That was my blizzard story.
Wait, why don't you guys just bring a sled, and then like someone can go on the sled while the other 2 people struggle, and then switch? That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like with the Frost thing, you guys could just bring a sled, both like 2 people hop on the sled and just go down the Frost Hill if it snowed like one morning, and then just bring the sled to school. I don't know why.
That would be super bulky all day.
Get a locker, bruh.
Honestly,
Or leave it in a teacher.
even bringing a coat to school for me was such a hassle that I would just
Oh,
like
yeah.
freeze to death in the morning and be like, I'm fine.
Same.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
I was just gonna say I don't have any blizzard stories that I remember. All I just remember is in middle school watching Riverdale while it was snowing outside. So yeah.
All right, I'll leave it there. It's been a lot of time. Thank you to Abbey and Sharon for joining us today, and thank you to anyone who made it this far, who's still listening.
Oh my gosh.
Next week will not be any of us, or Erin, will we be on next week?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, what?
We might see you next week, like Erin and I.
Oh yeah, it might be the 7 of us again. We'll see. I don't really know what the schedule is.
You'll have to find out. All right, thank you guys. And